What's up, everybody? Alright, I'm going to start doing some videos that more of the dashcam stuff I see kind of things for you guys. Some of it might be entertaining, some of it might just be me being a little bitch, or some might just be educational in nature, whatever. So bear with me. It's not all about entertainment, but I'll try to have some entertainment in here. But it's more about trying to get help other drivers learn some new things about bad practices or habits or whatever, or just whatever you can possibly learn that you might not realize, because there are sometimes people learn new things because of some of the content that I post. So bear with me on this. Don't expect humor, but maybe there will be some, or who knows. uh, this is what it is, right? So if you're looking for entertainment, bye. See you somewhere else. But if you get some out of this, even better. Alright, guys, we're going to start this one off with westbound 40 in Flagstaff. Going to have a bear or a cop up on the right shoulder with the car. That's no problem there. Now, here's the problem right here. This truck in front of me, alright, I kind of expect him to move over with that. It's always best to let people over. If there's right shoulder traffic of any kind, doesn't matter if it's a bear or just anybody parked on the side of the road. Problem is, it is not necessary to slow down and move over. It's slow down or move over. So, in some states also, you're required by law to slow down. If you can't get moved over, depending on the state, some will actually tell you slow down by at least 10 miles an hour. And I think in Texas, it's 20 miles an hour. So if you're doing 70 miles an hour and you're in that right lane and you're passed by a cop, you better be doing no more than 50. Because otherwise you can get pulled over and ticketed for that. They actually do sometimes sting operations on people doing exactly that too. So watch yourself there. If you're in the left lane and watch the right shoulder. If you see any traffic on the right shoulder at all, moving or not, if there's slower traffic in the right lane, slow down, let them by, let them over. Someone else's safety trumps your convenience. Get off your damn cruise control. Get off your gas pedal. Slow down. Let the right lane traffic move over for the safety of themselves and the person on the shoulder. Because I can tell you there are plenty of cases of people who've been on the right shoulder who've either caused or been involved in major accidents. There was just one that just happened to me, not to me, but okay, so I can give you plenty of anecdotes about why you don't want to mess with people on the right shoulder, and also why you don't want to be on the right shoulder yourself. Just happened just this week in my area, in between Barstow and Victorville. It was somewhere in between the Wild Wash Road and Dale Evans Parkway exit. It's basically about the halfway point between Barstow and almost the Apple Valley. There was a car on the right shoulder. They stopped there because their little girl needed to use the restroom, and they were on, I think it was a southbound 15 heading toward Victorville. They decided to stop on the right shoulder there. It was before they got to Dale Evans Parkway, and I don't know why, but for some reason, while they were parked there on the shoulder and they were outside the vehicle, I guess the dad was outside the car, like by the trunk of the car, smoking, and I think wife or whatever was helping the little girl use the restroom right there. While they're sitting there, another car came up, or an SUV or whatever it was. Yeah, it was an SUV of some sort, gray one. Ended up on the right, driving on the right shoulder. I don't know why. I don't know if they were just trying to pass somebody illegally, or maybe they were trying to pull over onto the shoulder themselves, or were distracted. I don't know. Any number of things could happen. Could be behind that. I'm not going to speculate on that. I don't want you to either. Problem is, though, they still ended up in the shoulder at more than a slow speed. Next thing you know, they're plowing right into the back end of the car that was on the right shoulder, smashed the shit out of it, and ended up having at least 5 people with major injuries, including the 2 kids that were involved in it. Um, 5 of them got airlifted out to trauma centers, and I think the other 2, there was like 7 people total. I think the other 2 got transported by ground ambulance. Not good. Another situation, I did a live stream not too many months, I did about a year ago, somewhere around there. I was on northbound on Highway 99 in California. I think I was in between, not too far north of Visalia. Yeah, right where Highway 198 and 99 meet up. Yeah, in between Visalia and Fresno. Or if you don't know where Visalia is, maybe you at least know where Bakersfield and Fresno are. Visalia is about the halfway point between Bakersfield and Fresno. Anyway, I would take a wild guess, about 10 miles north of Visalia. I'm not the greatest with the geography there. It could be Earlement or somewhere in that general neck of the woods. Someone on the right shoulder. The guy stopped there because he had a tire problem. I think he had a blown tire or whatever it was. All right, so he had a legit reason to be there. He got out of his car, started looking around, trying to figure out what tire it was, or just assess how bad the damage was, or whatever. Next thing you know, a UPS semi was coming up, and more. I mean, I don't want to speculate again because, but knowing truckers in general, there's a pretty good chance UPS probably wanted to move over, but was not allowed to by the traffic in the adjacent lane. So, next thing you know, they have to stay in their lane. This guy ends up somehow, I think, between his car and the fog line, and ends up getting hit and killed by the UPS truck. I remember passing right by. You saw that. You can actually see it on my live stream where his body's covered up with a white, like a white blanket or tarp, whatever, as I'm passing by. It was at night, but these are the things that happen when right shoulder traffic's involved. Had another one, I-40 in Little Rock. As was still when I was still with Sierra England, so it's been at least about 4+ years, getting closer to 5 now. There was a RTI truck on the right shoulder. Riverside Transport, or what, I forget what they're a pretty well known company. They're based in I think Missouri, Kansas City, or St. Louis. I forget which one it was. I see them regularly. I just forget where they're from. I know they're from Missouri though. Anyway, he was on the right shoulder, stopped, and while he's there, someone in a Jeep Grand Cherokee coming up, same direction as me, plowed right into the back end of that truck, or that trailer, whatever. The driver died instantly. Actually, the Grand Cherokee ricocheted off the back of the trailer and then ended up in the median. They got the driver out of there after I was already stuck there in traffic, no more than 100 yards or so away from the accident scene. And the female passenger was in the Grand Cherokee with them, was transported out by ground ambulance with major injuries. It's another one. Don't be on the right shoulder, people. And if you're going to be on there, have a super legit reason for being there, and be especially vigilant of traffic coming your way. If you're already on the road, get out of the lane if you can. And if you're not in that particular lane, but someone else is, back off. Let them over. Someone else's life might depend on it. There's another case why I don't play with people on the right shoulder. There's a guy I used to work with at March Air Reserve Base. He was what we call an age mechanic. He worked on the ground support equipment that we used on the airplanes. He was no longer working there. He was working up at Travis Air Force Base up in Fairfield, California, in between Sacramento and San Francisco. He lived in Simi Valley, which is Ronald Reagan territory, over on the kind of northwest LA basin, I guess I would call it. Uh, anyway, he stopped. He was on his way home to Simi Valley from Travis Air Force Base. He stopped on I-5 in kind of the Buttonwillow area, I guess, not too far out of Bakersfield, and stopped to take a piss. Gets back on the road, not wearing his seatbelt. He gets back out on the road right in front of somebody who's coming at him in a car or a pickup or whatever they were. I forget. It was a four-wheeler, if I remember right. Anyway, they couldn't avoid him. He pulled right out in front of them, and they plowed right into the back of him. Thankfully, that person survived, but the guy I worked with did not. He went. He wasn't wearing a seatbelt. He got he ejected right through the windshield and ended up dying in that accident. No, not accident. That's a collision. It's just stupid decision leading to that. Anyway, these are the kind of things that happen when you have right shoulder traffic involved, all right? So don't mess around with people on the right shoulder. Don't be, get your ass out of the lane. I don't care who they are. I don't care if it's a cop or a road worker or just somebody on the shoulder. If there's anybody with the vehicle, treat it like they are going to either walk, end up carelessly getting themselves in between them and you and getting killed, or they might pull out in front of you, which does happen. I've had it happen to me multiple times as well. Or, especially if you're in a truck, sometimes these guys actually will commit suicide by truck, and they might stop there on the shoulder, and then when you're coming up, they'll go running out into your lane right in front of you, just so they can get hit by you and kill. Why people choose that way, why people choose to kill themselves at all, let alone involve other people, I'll never figure out. But that's the way it is. So you got to be vigilant. Pay attention. I almost hit a guy in the middle of the road on I-215 once when I was in the Walmart fleet. He was in the number 2 lane, coming at traffic, and with his shirt off and waving his arms around like he was challenging people to hit him. I was 2 lanes over in the number 4 lane, and I had a car pass me in the number 3 lane, basically right in between me and the guy on the pedestrian. And had he been in my lane, even me paying attention, I'm not sure I would have been able to avoid hitting him. Because by the time I was able to clearly see him, because it was at night, even with some light there, I don't think I would have had enough time and reaction time and all that. So, and that's another case. Always know what's going on around you. I see it all the time here. People, I get out on the road in front of somebody or whatever, or they'll just camp out behind me when the lane to their left is completely wide open, and they don't bother to move over until after so long before they finally realize, oh yeah, there's another lane over there I can use. So people don't pay attention. I always see it. Even people who are actually watching in the front of the looking ahead aren't paying any attention to what's going on around them and have no concept of what their escape route options are, or what their options with traffic conflicts are. So pay attention, guys. Look everywhere at all times, and always know what your options are at any given time. That way, if there's any kind of a traffic conflict, you instantly know, I can do this, I can do that, and then you can choose which option to take from there. You shouldn't have to guess by looking in your mirrors. Oh yeah, is it clear? Oh yeah, okay. Well, reaction time, even if you already know all your options, it can sometimes take half a second to a full second before you can even figure out which way to react. And if you don't know what your options are, it's even worse, because now that 1 second reaction time is turning into several seconds, because you have to look in your mirrors to figure out what you can, if there's something you can do about it, right? So again, always know your every escape route you can at all times. That way you never get surprised by anything. You always know instantly, I can or cannot do this, and you can make a much more quick reaction out of problems, and might be able to avoid something that you would otherwise not be able to avoid. All right, so let's move on to the next one. Alright, this one I'm on northbound US 95 in between Mina and Hawthorne, Nevada. As you see, I got snow flurry activity here. And I got a knucklehead in front of me. I guess, I don't know if he has this stupid idea that driving with his tires on the paint will help his traction. Or if he's distracted driving or what. But whatever the case is, this is not a good practice. If anybody rides a motorcycle might be able to tell you, when you drive on the paint, it actually decreases your traction. So if you're going to lose control, sometimes that paint right there is the reason why you lose control. Don't drive on the paint. Not to mention, I want to get around this guy. As you see, he's down to 52 miles an hour there. And this is just snow flurry. The road's in great shape. It's just snow flurries. I wanted to get around him, but now I'm up to 65, but the speed limit is 70. I want to be going 70. Alright, as long as there's nobody coming, you can see he's constantly on the paint, or actually even crossing partially into the southbound lane. I finally do get around him, but these are the kind of boneheads we get out here. We'll move on here. There's a whole bunch of that. You see my windshield's getting a little crowded. Finally get around him. Alright. Next one here. This was in, I want to say Oklahoma. Yeah, I-40 in Oklahoma. I think that, now this is just some of the, okay, this guy stopped right here in the middle of the road, like in the middle of the westbound lanes. I think he was there for a legit reason. I think I remember seeing another, it might have been that vehicle you just saw on the off-ramp. It could have been this guy or somebody else. I thought I remembered seeing stopped as I was further away. Looked like he might have just finished helping like jump start somebody or something, where he had to have his hood facing the other person's hood. And I think he was just trying to get himself turned around that way. But still, you might see this kind of stuff. Right in the middle of the road, and let's see how far down the road. I think, I want to say that's a car right there. Not too far down the road, so watch out. Alright, so this is on southbound I-15. So I want to say in between Moapa, Valley of Fire, and where the Loves is at, and just north of Las Vegas. Alright, so we got this truck here on the right shoulder. You can see the driver is outside the vehicle, in between the truck and the fog line. Look at my rear view mirror. What do I have here? I have two cars coming up right here next to me. I have no option but to stay in my lane. You can see the car's not too far behind my tandems. They're pretty much even in line with my the back of my trailer, or maybe even a little bit closer. So it's not safe for me to move over. This guy's over here. I remember when I was approaching, he wasn't even on the side of his truck. He was out in front of it, and then he comes right out, not even paying any attention at all to the fact that anybody was coming. And after I passed by, I don't have somewhere around this point here, the guy turns and looks at me and flips me off. I watch him through my rear view mirror. Obviously, if I had another camera, I would have been able to pick that up, but he flips me off. But okay, what do you expect me to do? You're on the shoulder, and I have traffic right there next to my trailer, and another one getting ready to pass me. I have no option there. You don't give me an option if you stop on the right shoulder. If you don't have a legit reason to be there, don't be there. If you have to stop, and you can, if you're able to move yourself, get to an off-ramp or an on-ramp at the very least. Do not stop on the shoulder, or if you absolutely have to stop on the shoulder, try to do it in a spot where it doesn't leave you just a couple of feet from the fog line. always keep it to where at least 12 feet away, so there's an entire length, an entire lane width available to work with between you and the passing traffic. That's the best practice. Just otherwise, stay away from there. All right, now we're going to move to southbound I-15, going down the Baker grade, which is north of Baker. It's for anybody who's been through there knows it's that really long, like 20-mile downhill grade between Halloran Summit and Baker. All right, I've got this truck passing me right now. He's not a big deal, even though he's technically speeding, but it's bullshit speed law anyway. You see, I'm doing 60 myself. This guy here, I think is the one, or maybe it's, yeah, I think he's the one. He's come flying up, like, where the hell are you going, dude? I think he was expecting this truck to move over, back over in front of me sooner than he did. But this truck was just giving me a reasonable amount of space before coming back over. This, to some people, is actually still too close. When there's other traffic around, that's fine by me as long as you're going faster. But if there's no traffic around, I'm even better if you want to give me more space than that. I'm not going to complain about this kind of space, but the more space you can give me before you move back over, the happier I'm going to be. And then I'll do the same for you. I'll give you more space before I move over. And so on that subject too. There's some etiquette when it comes to signaling for someone else when they come back over. During the daytime, like you saw there, it's okay to go ahead and use your high beams there just briefly. But if it's at night, don't use your high beams. You're a fucking asshole if you do that. Are you gonna necessarily blindly? No, but is it rude? Extremely. I don't care if you think you're trying to be nice. You're not being nice. When my pupils are dilated because it's dark, and all of our pupils at night are dilated to let more light in, and which makes our eyes more sensitive to light. When you high beam somebody, now you're giving them a very strong beam of light at a time when their eyes are especially sensitive. During the daytime, your pupils contract. They get small. They don't let as much light in, so they're not as sensitive to the light. So during the daytime, it's not so bad. But at night, if you're going to signal at all, either flash your marker lights or turn your headlights off for a second and turn them back on. Don't high beam them. I don't give a shit how quickly you do it. I don't care if it's just like a really half-second flick, or if you stupidly do it for like a second or two and then turn them back to low beam. If you do that, if you do high beam me at night and I'm passing you, 100% chance you will not get a thank you flash. In fact, I'd flip you off if I could. Don't do it. You might think it's good manners to do that. No, it's not. Good manners means turning your headlights off or flash your marker lights, whatever, but don't high beam at night, okay? I cannot stress this enough. You'll piss off a whole bunch of truckers, myself included, if you do flash your high beams at night. Alright, so just don't do it. Alright, but going back to this guy here, it's another bad practice there. Come flying up on a truck like that. Because what if something doesn't happen that you expect to happen, or something unexpected does happen? Then you leave yourself in a really bad spot, and you don't want to be a trucker rear-ending another trucker. For one, if you manage to rear-end another truck, then there's just as much question about your own driving habits as it is anybody else's, and also it doesn't go well for the trucker who rear-ends the other trucker. A lot of times, if a truck rear-ends another truck, the guy who does the rear-ending ends up dying. So, more reason, don't put yourself in a stupid position like that. Back off. You don't have to be going, I'm doing 60 myself, or I'm in the 55 zone for trucks. This guy was doing at least 70 going down that hill. Alright, this next one is eastbound 10 in Arizona. If I recall, I want to say I was in between Casa Grande and Tucson. I could be wrong though. I forget. I just know I'm somewhere in that in between Phoenix and Tucson area. I want to say I was in between Casa Grande and Tucson. Maybe one of you guys who spends a lot more time in that area. I used to be stationed out there, but actually, yeah, 251. That Sunset Road. That's just north of Tucson, just north of downtown Tucson, just a few miles. Alright, so in this particular case, now this is where I like to have that extra dash cam, the right side camera available. But as you see, I'm behind another truck that's actually in my way. I can legally move over to the left lane to pass him, but I think that because the other traffic in the lane, I was just being patient, waiting, and just hey, the traffic conditions, I don't need to be in a big hurry, like another situation. Okay, because it's 60, I'm doing 63. Well, actually, it's a 55 zone now. I'm getting into a construction zone. So that's another thing. I knew I was getting into a construction area and going to slow down. I don't need to worry about trying to go around this guy. And even if I wanted to go around him, there's traffic next to him, not going much faster than us. So I personally won't go over there until I know I can get over there and get all the way past who I'm trying to pass and back over first. If there's still traffic hanging out there, even if they're going faster, if I can't move over and instantly get by them and right back over, I don't even move over until it's clear. Meanwhile, I got a FedEx truck behind me. I think, you might have seen right there a little bit in the rear view mirror. You can see just a little bit. Yeah, white. Okay. Now, I don't think there's anybody there at the moment. Even though I don't have a right side rear view mirror camera, I do have the hood mirror. You can kind of see what's going on over there in the lane to my right. Don't really see anything going on there, or at least for sure. But you can see that I'm here because the traffic in front of me. It's not good practice to pass on the right. Faster traffic dealing with on-ramp traffic is even worse than slower traffic dealing with them. Also, in this area, it's legal for trucks to be in the number one lane. This is number one, this is number two, and this is number three. A lot of people get the lane numbers backwards. That's not how they number them. You talk to any law enforcement agency and you have to report something, what lane it is, they're going to say number one, number two, number three. Okay, so make sure you always number the lanes from left to right, and they don't include the HOV lane. Alright, now, anyway, FedEx gets impatient. One, we're already doing the speed limit. Alright, this guy finally moves over. Okay, as it was, there actually was a car there next to me. You couldn't see him, though, because that's another thing. Alright, now you can see him in my hood mirror right there. I think by then, FedEx had moved over to try to pass me, but now finally the truck that was the reason why I was even in the middle lane myself finally decided to move over and block it. Again, why pass on the right when you can do so legally on the left? You can't really do it legally on the left if I'm doing 58 and a 55, and so if you're passing me up and I'm doing that speed, then I might want to look at your own habits first. We'll speed this up though. I think FedEx finally does go around me on the left. I think it's only because I told them on the radio, you can use the number one lane, or nope, maybe not. I ended up moving back over, but yeah.
Attention, an important message has arrived.
I don't think he had any idea that he was allowed to use that lane. So, those of you guys who are truckers, know what the rules are. Just because you're not allowed in that lane in some places doesn't mean you're not allowed in that lane everywhere. Here, it's 100% legal for you to be in that lane. I've even been in that lane myself right in front of a cop passing somebody, and cop didn't think two bits about it. Didn't even Yeah, didn't pull me over or anything because it's 100% legal for me to be there. Alright, this is just kind of an interesting one that I saw. I got this Challenger coming up here. It's in the Dukes of Hazzard General Lee theme. I just thought it was kind of cool to see. Not something you see every day. I don't want to get into the social justice or whatever about that whole Confederate flag stuff. I was a Dukes of Hazzard fan when I was a kid. I just thought it was cool. Alright, this is Vega, Texas. Eastbound I-40, about halfway in between the New Mexico line and Amarillo, or Amarillo, for those of you guys who only do English. I got a construction zone coming up here. Lane closure, and you're going to see a car go flying past me at the last moment to... They go running past me to do what? Get stuck behind the next car that's up there in front of me? That's not smart, people. That happens to us truckers all the time. Don't try to race a truck into a construction zone. You don't need to be going that fast in a construction zone anyway. And all right, what are you gonna do? Now you're in a position where if I'm not paying attention and one of these guys in front of you slows down, I'm gonna kill you. Not on purpose, but on accident. Uh, don't put your don't test fate like that, people. And then I'm leaving extra space there for my own good, and but I think I do end up catching up. Just back off, be patient. When you're in a construction zone, in some areas like New Mexico, the state police there do not mess around. I've had several friends get tickets for doing 5 miles an hour over the limit into construction zones in New Mexico, both on Interstates 40 and Interstate 10. So I won't go much faster. I won't go any more than maybe a few miles an hour above the speed limit on in construction zones because of that reason. And if you can't handle doing that, then that's your problem. The only time I'll go faster is if there's a bunch of traffic and everybody. That's the flow of traffic. But if I'm the front runner, I'm going to do what I need to do, and don't bitch about it if you don't like it. That's your problem, not mine. All right, we're getting to the end of the construction zone here, and what do you see? I'm still right behind the guy, and he was still stuck behind the car that was in front of me, so didn't really do him any good at all to try to race me into the construction zone, was it? It was kind of a stupid risk. Alright, this is at the TA in Amarillo. You got this guy here walking toward his truck. This guy here in the fuel island, he's going to start backing up to, I guess, move to a different lane or whatever he was doing. I wouldn't necessarily say there's anything wrong down here, but got a bad situation here, though. Okay, this guy is doing things right. He's staying further away from the truck. When you're near a truck, it's near by the fuel island, don't be close to them. Don't walk right behind the back of them. Don't walk right in front of their hood. And I see it all the time. Sometimes when I'm getting fuel and I'm walking around with the squeegee to clean my windshield, sometimes I get some dipshit who's walking either to the building or back to his truck, and they end up wanting to go in between me and the hood of my truck. This is how stupid people are. Stay away from the fronts of trucks, because especially if you get these guys with the long noses like the guy next to me, if you walk right in front of them and you're too close to their truck, there's a pretty good chance they won't even have any idea you're there. Even if they're looking, they can't see you. They don't have hood mirrors a lot of times, like this guy doesn't, and the front of their hood is too tall. Even someone who myself, I'm 6'3", I could stand here in front of this truck and the driver would not see me. That's how tall the front of the hood is on these trucks. So stay out in front, like several feet. You don't need to be right in front of someone's hood. Whether it's going in front of their truck or behind them. There are people. There have been cases of people who get ran over by trucks backing up. There was one that happened in Arizona a few years ago. A truck was backing up at I can't remember what truck stop it was. Backed right into a guy who was walking toward the building though, and they ended up running him over. Okay, see here the trucker ended up stopping, but you got to remember the trucker has a blind spot over here. Even if they're using a right side mirror, there's so much they can see there, but there are other things that they cannot see. And where the guy was initially positioned when I think when the truck started to back up, I can't guarantee he would have been able to see the guy until he got within view of his rear view mirror. And then thankfully they were both paying attention. The guy on foot stopped, and then actually come back. Yeah. Okay, so the guy's walking. Now the truck starts to back up. The guy walking stops instantly because he realizes there's a safety problem there. Then the guy in the truck stops, lets the guy go by because he realizes the guy's there. And then he finishes backing up. Alright, well, that's going to be it for today's edition of Shit I've Seen and what lessons can be learned from it, or whatever, or what little entertainment you can get out of it, too. I don't know. That's all. We'll have some more footage for you guys coming up soon. There's plenty of stuff I save regularly, so I'll do more of these. It's just a lot of times it takes a back seat to when I'm doing my pickup and delivery videos. All right. So when I have time, I'll get some more of this kind of content put up for you guys. Yolanda, I know you like some of this content. You were asking for some of this kind of stuff, any kind of lessons that can be learned, and that's the main purpose for this. So, Yolanda or anybody else who might just want to learn from a trucker's perspective, or even not just a trucker in general, but just my own perspective, my own thoughts on best practices. Always try to be safe and professional, but that's coming from a guy who's not always the most safe and professional. I learned lessons myself too, so it is what it is. I'm going to have something else there on Radio Rambo kind of stuff pretty soon too, alright? So watch out for that and more of the Dashcam shit I see, and we'll see you guys next time. Thanks, have a good day.